There's a second court case going on at the moment besides the one with Prince Harry, and it's summed up by somebody who says, I would also urge the Prime Minister to consider whether letting Lady Hallett see some text messages as significant enough inconvenience when you hold the lives of the nation in your hand. Your inconvenience, our lives. And I think that puts it very clearly. And it's damage has been done to public confidence. Miss Campbell, KC, said, it was expressed across the kitchen table from which loved ones are absent. Why? Because they died in the pandemic and because mistakes were made. Of course mistakes were made, we know that. This inquiry, chaired by Lady Hallett, is to determine what mistakes were made, when and how. But we know mistakes were made. There's no question about that. People died. Either we went into lockdown too soon or we didn't need to go into lockdown at all. It doesn't really matter what the conclusion is. We did it at the wrong time in the wrong way. And we weren't sufficiently prepared. That may well be down to David Cameron and George Osborne, who are both going to have to testify, as much as it's down to Jeremy Hunt, who is going to have to testify. All this is taking place in Dorland House. That's where the Grenfell investigation took place. And it's okay to turn around and say, as I think Boris did, or someone writing up Boris said, well, it's a colossal waste of time because it will just become all about Boris, just as the Chilcot inquiry was all about Blair, but that's not a waste of time. Blair will always now be defined by Iraq. He did many other things, but Iraq is what defines him, partly because of the Chilcot inquiry. And in the same way, Boris, who showed so much promise, will always be defined by his failure during COVID. And it doesn't matter how much he protests. Well, we got the vaccinations done. So little, so late. There are 13 legal teams, 350 witness statements, 35,000 documents, more if all the WhatsApp stuff comes through, 39 core participants from bereaved families in various parts of the UK, the NHS, the BMA, the police, the long COVID group, and so on. And Hugo Keith, the barrister, the lead counsel, says that a lot of this is about the impact of austerity. The barristers for Northern Ireland and the bereaved families said Rishi Sunak's cabinet standoff reeks of obfuscation, and a lack of candour undermines his statements. And they also said individuals and departments are seen running down the clock, trying to make sure this investigation doesn't deliver until after the present government has gone. But Baroness Hallett has made it quite clear. This isn't going to be one of those inquiries which where we wait 10 years and then there's a massive there's a book to be delivered as the final product. No, this is going to be delivered step by step, rather like waiting for Chris Whitty to declaim in front of a podium day after day. Maybe the plan is that maybe the government thinks that way, doing it that way, we're all going to get tired of it before we get to the end. But I think we have to steel ourselves and we have to sit through this and we have to get to the bottom of this. We know there were mistakes. What were they? And the lawyer of the Cabinet Office, when he was asked what was going on, said, well, the Cabinet's working out its position. That's absurd. Rather like Matt Hancock with a pencil. I'm working out my position with a pencil. I'm afraid it's very difficult to have anything other than contempt and to ridicule these people for their position. I just Get your act together.